All right, so one of the biggest questions I always get is, hey Scott, I've got a new launch monitor, but my distances are not correct. Can you help me with it? So let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Scott Oden coming at you. We're talking through some launch monitor setups. So a lot of people this time of year are getting new launch monitors, new setups, things like that to practice during the winter, or you're just getting yours set back up for the winter. And so I get a lot of questions regarding the launch monitor about, hey, why is it not reading the distances? My distances are not correct when I play outside. So I want to go over that a little bit, and let's talk about a couple things that I see because it's usually something that can be explained. And so we're going to go through that and talk about it. So the first thing you want to look at is the setup of the space. So whatever your launch monitor that you are using, all of them, I've tried pretty much all of them. They all have little tiny kind of little things that you have to kind of mess with to be able to get it to be set up correctly. If you're using a radar unit, make sure you have enough flight. Make sure you have the unit level as well, and make sure you have it lined up correctly. If you're using a SkyTrack or a GC2 or one of the photo-based units, make sure it's aligned correctly. Make sure it's directly where it needs to be, pointing at your target, because the way the ball takes off and how it perceives that ball taking off, that does get factored a little bit into it, especially some of the ones that do calculations. They're going to kind of take that into a little bit of an account as you're going through, but you know what? It also just helps the ball get seen better. Also, make sure you have some good lighting where, it's not too dark. I just find that it works better if you have a little bit of light in your space. That's going to help you out and make your unit work just a little bit better. You don't have to wash your screen out, but just make sure you got something in there that is making sure things are lit up well enough. So the next thing is going to be environmental settings. So most of these launch monitors, you can set environmental settings. Now, if you can't, you have to take that into account as well. Think about when you're playing golf. If you're playing golf mostly in the summer, like if you're here in the Midwest and it's always 90, plus degrees, there's a lot of humidity. Okay, we're at elevation. We're at about 700 feet here in Chicago. So if I don't set those things, my golf ball is going to go shorter. If I set it at 72 degrees, I set it at sea level, and I set it at a different humidity level, that will affect how far that golf ball goes. So making sure you get the environment that you are actually playing in, you have to be comparing those two things that correctly. So if you're playing and it's very hot, that will have a big impact on the golf ball, just like when you're playing and it's very cold. If you don't have the ability to change those things, I would check out what's going on with the temperature in your space, because that's going to affect things. It's going to come off, the ball is going to come off the face slower, and it's going to be tougher to get the ball to go with some distance. So just take that into account as you're going through. Now, with that environment, this goes very, very closely to that topic, which is indoor swing syndrome. So indoor swing syndrome is very, very real. When people are swinging inside, they just don't swing as fast as they're swinging outside. So what I recommend people do is, first off, when they are checking their numbers, if you don't have a baseline from hitting outside or doing another, test of things where you don't know how fast you typically swing, what I would do is actually go and Google this. This is the TrackMan numbers. You can get the PGA Tour or the LPGA Tour. I print these out and have these on the wall at all times, just so I can reference them for people, because this question comes up all the time. Oh, I feel like I hit the ball farther outside. Well, and we're gonna go further into that part a little bit, but I'll say, all right, hey, you're swinging your golf club at this speed, so if you're only swinging it at 87 miles per hour, your 5-iron, and you're like, oh, I'm not hitting it very far, I'm only hitting it 160 yards. Well, when we go to 87 miles per hour for a PGA Tour player, guess what? They hit it 160 yards. Now they're doing with an 8-iron, but the idea is there that, hey, speed is what creates the distance on the ball, and then you go from there. So just have something to compare your speeds and check it out and see, hey, am I swinging the speed that's appropriate for the distance I think I'm going to hit the ball? That's good knowledge anyway, but it's also going to let you know maybe inside we're not swinging as fast. Now, to continue on with numbers, the one thing that I think I start working with people a lot on is, the launch conditions that you are using or having with the golf ball. So again, I will bring out this sheet and I start looking at a couple of different numbers. One, I'm going to look at, hey, what is your smash factor? Smash factor has a huge impact on if that ball is going to go, because it's basically your ball speed, right? It's ball speed, club speed relationship, but basically it's how centered are you hitting the ball in the club face. If you're not hitting it very center, you're going to lose a lot of distance in a hurry. If you saw the ball test we did with the Piper ball in the last video, you saw that if I did not hit that ball in the dead center of the club, that distance came down quite a bit. Just by having it go up by 0.02, I was seeing, an extra 8, 9, 10 yards in carry distance just because that was happening. Okay, so that's something you want to check out and see if you are hitting it in the center of the face. The other thing I would look at is how high are you hitting it? What is the launch? Again, compare that number. Hey, am I hitting it really high? Check out your spin rates. Are those matching up? See if those look like that, what they should. Those are some of the explanations for why that golf ball would be going not the correct distance. And then the last thing I always have to say is, do you really know how far your golf ball goes when you're playing outside? Are you somebody that you shoot the yardage every time with a rangefinder? Okay, so you know the exact distance to the pin, and hey, I hit it 160 yards, and that means that's my 8-iron. Well, is that 8-iron flying all the way to the pin and hitting right next to the pin? Or is it landing 10 yards short, 15 yards short, and rolling up to the pin? Are you landing in the fairway in front of the green and it's rolling up? Are you hitting the shot good? There's a lot of times when I think people look at it and say, oh yeah, I should be hitting the ball farther. And then, we'll go through it. I'll say, you know what? The pin was 150. You landed right about 145, 140. And, because you're fixing your ball marks, right? We're all doing that. But you're learning that, hey, maybe I just don't carry the ball as far as I think I do. That's something that is a real thing. And when you're using carry as the main number, which most launch monitors are doing, that's a whole nother world that I don't think people really pay attention to. People are just used to looking at the total distance and how far that ball is going, but carry is a better number to be looking at. Now, you can adjust some of the conditions, make your settings firmer, all that stuff. That'll help you with roll and stuff like that. But again, I think a lot of people don't really understand how far they carry the ball versus how far it goes, even when they're playing outside. And so that number kind of throws them off when they're playing inside. So just keep that thought in mind as you're hitting golf balls. But my experience, the units, they tend to be pretty darn accurate. Pretty much all of them that I've tried. If anything, you actually might get a few extra yards because you get a low spin rating, and that would cause the ball to go farther. But something that you should check out. See if you can check these things and see if they're correct, and that should help your distance as you're getting everything set up and going forward with your winter practice. It's important to know. So if you have any questions about it, please leave a comment down below. Plenty of people are willing to help, including myself. So leave a comment down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.